I don't think that's the issue though. If you want.
No.
Welcome everyone to the municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc on Monday, May 25th, 2025, our regular council sessions. The municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc acknowledges that it is located on Treaty 21 territory. We are thankful to the generations of people who have taken care of this land, including the Chippewa of the Thames First Nation, the Munsee Delaware, and the Oneida Nation of the Thames. Roll call. Councillor Derbyshire has indicated he will be late, but will be joining us. A motion to approve the agenda of this evening. Councillor Hippel, second by the Deputy Mayor. All in favor? That motion is carried. Are there any declaration of pecuniary interest? Councillor Wilsey.
Item 8.1.5, I've got a CIB application on the agenda.
Okay, thank you for that. We'll now move on to our presentations and delegation. First up, and we're very pleased to have the Middlesex Community Living with us this evening. Sherry Kroll will speak.
Can you hear it okay?
Yes.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Sherry Kroll. I'm the Executive Director at Middlesex Community Living. And joining me are my partners in crime, Nancy Powers over here and Brad Ward, who are both part of a committee at Middlesex Community Living called A Welcoming Community Where Everyone Belongs. I'm going to start by providing you with a bit of information about Middlesex. Provides supports to 125 people in Strathroy and surrounding areas. The majority of our funding comes from the Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services. We operate on a $9 million annual budget, and we have a staffing complement of about 155 employees. Our vision statement and mission statement are posted up there for you. We believe in valuing citizens and building inclusive communities, and we do that through our mission statement, which states that we are committed to supporting citizens with intellectual disabilities to achieve their fullest potential and to foster the development of inclusive communities. By a volunteer board of directors whose role is to set the vision and strategic direction as well as to ensure fiduciary responsibility. Next. MCL provides a rich array of supports and services. We have group living supports, which is your typical group homes, as often people refer to them, which offer 24/7 round-the-clock supports to people. We have supported independent living, which is for people that do not require support but need some specific attention in aspects of their lives. We offer a service called Host Family, where members of this community, family members, have invited people with disabilities to come live in their home, and they receive a small compensation for doing so. We have community respite services, which are open on evenings and weekends to allow people that live at home with their families to get out of that home environment and to spend some time gaining some independent living skills and to meet with other people. We have a service called Community Participation, which enables people to connect with their community and enjoy the engaged offers. We offer employment supports, which help people to find and maintain competitive community employment. And we provide supports to people through administration of their Passport program. Passport is a government-funded initiative in Ontario that provides adults with a small amount of money, a pocket of money, from which they can use to purchase recreation and leisure pursuits. They can purchase or hire a staffing complement for some one-on-one activities, or they can use it for person-directed planning. So MCL will assist people with that service by administering their Passport funding. MCL asked for time on the agenda tonight to announce a relaunch of an initiative that we started in 2019, but unfortunately, the pandemic caused us to take our travel on this journey off-road. Our car's been stalled for a while, and unfortunately it's been taking us a couple years to get it back going again, but we put air in the tires and we put gas in the tank, and we're ready to continue on our journey. This initiative is called A Welcoming Community Where Everyone Belongs. Through this initiative, it is our hope that Strathroy-Caradoc would be branded a welcoming community where everyone belongs. Isn't that a lovely thought? To get Strathroy-Caradoc on the map and recognized as a community for all. To achieve this, we created a vision of recognizing businesses that demonstrate they are welcoming with what we call a decal of distinction, and that's what you see up there on the screen. It's a peel-off sticker that can be displayed on a business's front door to tell community everyone is welcome to come through these doors. Overall overarching goal of this initiative is to create greater inclusion for all people, and that connects us back to our vision statement. This initiative is not about people with disabilities, and it's not solely about Middlesex community living. But we knew that if we could create a community where everyone belongs, that would include the people that we provide supports and services to. We understood that to be successful, we needed to engage everyone and help them to see the benefits, both as an individual community member, as well as the broader community at large. Strathroy was viewed as a welcoming community that would attract new residents and maintain existing ones. Growth in residents means growth in businesses and services, and an environment that is inclusive means that everyone gets to participate. People of all walks of life, all genders, all colors, all religion, and all abilities. As we wanted to co-create this initiative with our community, we hosted 2 interactive community forums which brought together over 50 people, community members, and we asked them things like, how do you view Strathroy-Caradoc today in terms of being welcoming and belonging? What does welcoming and belonging look like and feel like to you as a citizen? In what other ways might we create an inclusive community? And we held Speakers Corner, where we asked people the importance of living in a welcoming community where everyone belongs. From that, we developed 5 criteria or attributes of a welcoming community, and they included what's listed on the left-hand side there: accessibility, compassionate, friendly, helpful, and safe. Very easy concepts to embrace and to understand. With each of those 5 criteria, we developed 3 indicators. They're descriptors or benchmarks that help to show the extent to which the criteria are being met. To receive a DECL distinction, you only have to meet 1 indicator out of those each 5 core criteria. And it's a self-declaration process, so we tried to make it as simple as possible for people to engage. We originally launched the Welcoming Community Initiative Mayor's Breakfast in 2019. The Mayor's Breakfast is an annual event in partnership with the Mayor of Strathroy-Caradoc. It's held in May to commemorate Community Living Month. In collaboration with Mayor Grantham, it is our hope to resume the Mayor's Breakfast in 2026. Prior to the pandemic, we had over 50 employers in Strathroy-Caradoc embrace this initiative and partner with us to create a welcoming community. Our plan for 2026 Mayor's Breakfast will be to recognize all of those that have participated in this campaign and received their Decal of Distinction. We want to gather and share impact stories about what this initiative has meant to them and to their business, why it's important. This year, we are relaunching the Welcoming Community Initiative, and we're starting by recognizing those members that participated with us in the past. And I'm just going to go through a few quick slides to show you our partners that were on board in 2019. They include the Strathroy-Caradoc Police Services, RBC, Over the Deep End No Boundaries, Boston's Pharmacy, Strathroy Audio Video, Healthy You, HDMI, Community Employment Choices, The Music Spot, and Equanimity, the Rusty Wrench, Back Alley Burrito, A&E Radiator and Automotive, the Clock Tower, Simply Kids, Acorn Tree Services. Also included is Cuddy Farms, Strathroy-Caradoc Fire Department, Forest of Flowers, Dominion Lending, Downtown Strathroy Market, Leeds Employment Services, the Salvation Army, Tia's Place, Strathroy-Caradoc Family YMCA, Strathroy Mini Storage, Magoogan Eye Care, Blackgate Tattoo, McDonald's Restaurant, MyFM Strathroy, the Rotary Club, Little Lambs, Orchard Clothing Company, Middlesex Community Living, Flagstone Financial, the Men's Shop and her boutique, Busing's Welding and Repairs, the BIA, and the Municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc. I want to end with these words. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the water to create many ripples. We are reaching out to all those that have engaged with us in the past and offering them a fresh window decal. We are expanding our reach beyond our businesses to include schools, churches, service clubs, groups, and we're reaching out beyond Strathroy into the municipality. We are committed to partnering with Strathroy-Caradoc in the hope, and we hope that you will accept a fresh decal of distinction from us so that you can put it on the Strathroy Town Hall. Thank you. I think Brad has a decal with him. So,
Sure. And he wants to present that.
yeah.
I will.
Did you want to go forward?
Brad's doing that, I just wanted to say that I joined the committee this year, and after looking at that list, I have a big job ahead of me, because I have about 30 people from that list, but if anyone is listening out there tonight and they want a decal, they can get a hold of Middlesex Community Living, and they will contact me, and I will be out to see you.
You got the camera there? I guess I do. Other way, there we are.
Oh, turn around, Rick.
Turn around, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, like.
You had it right the first time.
We knew what we were doing, didn't we, Brad?
Yes,
Don't listen to us.
there you go.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, Brad.
Good job.
Well, that's good, because I can't answer them.
But just on behalf of council, I want to thank you tonight for coming. We know this is a great initiative, and I can just say on behalf of all the council, we don't need 100%, so if there's anything you need, just come to us and we will help in any way we can. So thank you very much. Next up is the Strathroy Hospice Board. We have Darren McAuliffe and Tyler Damon are here to speak. Okay.
So I have to talk. That's all right. All right. How's everybody doing today? All right.
Did you have a presentation or was it?
Yeah, it's supposed
Yep.
to, is it up there?
Clean it up, I guess.
There we go. So basically, we're here just to kind of present.
There we are.
Thank you, sir. So we're basically here today to kind of present where we're at as Strathroy and introduce ourselves to everybody here. And so we have established an excellent board. I'm very proud of everybody that's on it, and that's the next slide. And a very dedicated group that have come together to help bring this project to tuition. We put in our EOA, which is an expression of interest to the government last year when they put it out that they had, were giving capital funding out to try to bring out 96 beds. But then the whole elections and stuff like that, we haven't really heard where there's at, but there's two different plans to bring. There's an 8-year plan, but in that we got our application in and we were approved, and our verbal and email response has been that we were highly recommended and that we have put in an application for 5 beds. So we've obtained our nonprofit status and we've started the process of fundraising. And we've demonstrated that we had all of the right, you go to the next slide. Thank you. We've demonstrated that the collaboration and compliance has all been there. We've talked to all of the groups, so we met all of the proper status to get us moving forward. And we'll go to the next slide. So the reason what we're trying to do is that our area has been, like Strathroy-Caradoc, Middlesex has been come forward as the largest gap within Ontario for lack of hospice beds. So we will serve that region there, mostly Strathroy-Caradoc, Middlesex, Lambton-Kent area. If you go to the next slide, you'll see that Middlesex London has the largest gap within the province. We only have, I can't see it from there. There's a capacity of gap is 38 beds, so we're the only ones in the red. So it's been recognized that we need it the most, and we have got a lot of support from the government saying that because we need this in our area the most. And I'm going to pass this on to Sarah.
Wait, you can go to the next slide, please.
So my name's Sari Bilzicki. I'm a nurse practitioner. I used to work at 4 counties as part of Strathroy-Middlesex Hospital. And I now work at the Cancer Centre London. And the reason I got involved in this project is something close to my heart. My husband passed away of cancer in 2021, and we own a farm in Strathroy. And Michael had really big dreams about what to do at that farm. And after the pandemic and kind of, I talked to some people that I really care about what we could do at that farm to honor Michael and also bring something that's very worthwhile to this community. I'm sure I don't need to tell you, I'm sure each of you has been touched in some way by a loss, whether that's cancer or chronic illness. The importance of having that kind of care close to home, and also being able to be with your loved ones, not necessarily in the hospital setting, but also, if people can't die or spend the rest of their lives at home, that they have a place to go to where they can receive care and compassion at the end of their lives. So through all kinds of twists of fate, I got in touch with Tyler, and I told him that I would really like to donate a portion of the land at the farm to this cause. So that's how I became involved in this project. So just to taste $750,000 towards this product. Our capital campaign is for $5 million, so we're on our way and hoping to get some more funding. And we are also in touch with lawyers and companies within Strathroy to try and convert some of that land from agricultural, because it's a farm, to different purposes. So that's really to kind of let you know also why we're here tonight is, that's our plan, and we really appreciate all the support so far that we've received from council. It's been really wonderful. Next slide. This is just our donating structure. All of this stuff is online. You can go and Google Strathroy Hospice, and all this information will be there. Next slide. I think I've touched on this already too. So again, we're kind of waiting for approval from the Ministry of Health. So that will be a big announcement, hopefully. And then we'll start doing all the other kind of steps towards building something. Next slide. And again, thank you to everyone for listening tonight.
So basically, we're trying to convert this. We have the land being donated. It's a beautiful, absolutely serene spot. It's right between Tom Walker's Drive, so right between Strathroy and Mount Bridges. It allows us to have all of that, like get all of the community involved and not be in one space than the other. So we've been working with Tim and with Tim Williams and trying to get all of our ducks in a row to make sure that we can put in an application and get all of the information towards you guys soon to say, this is why we want to convert this land, this is why it's so beautiful. We are getting it donated, which is incredible. Spaces, we should have had some pictures on that thing. I'm gonna blame my vice chair on that one. It's a beautiful spot. It's like from my office, it's 14 minutes. We think it could be, there's a beautiful pond behind it that we can build this facility. We're looking for a 5-bed, but our capital campaign is to try to build that 5-bed hospice. And we'll go through, it's not gonna be the easiest path, but as a board, we're all behind this location to try to move it forward as much as we can, because we think it's just gonna be special, and we think that this community deserves this special location, and that the community deserves a hospice, and we're gonna work to bring it. I wanted to get you all on board. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you. Did any members of council have any questions or comments? Councillor Hippel.
Thank you. Through yourself, I was at Caradoc Sands when you did present this, and I was at Caradoc Sands when you did present this, and this is so needed. And you're doing such a great job, and your board members are just outstanding. And this is, it's something that we've needed for a really long time, and you just happen to be the people that are doing a fantastic job at putting this all together. So congratulations and thank you for doing this, because without you, this wouldn't even be happening right now. So I am absolutely thrilled that you brought this to us.
Well, thank you very much.
Councillor Colsman.
Yes, thank you. I unfortunately had a committee of adjustment meeting the night you had your
No, it's okay.
presentation, so I couldn't make it to Caradoc Sands. But, you know, where I work, I see weekly the impact of people who are forced to make a decision to come back to Strathroy to grab something because they're family members in London. You know, that's a horrible choice for them to make, because they always know that, you know, maybe they don't make it back in time. And so congratulations on this. It's a fantastic initiative. And even, you know, a lot of people, when they move into seasons, they think this is the last place they're going to move to. It's not. And quite often I hear them comment about the fact that they love where we're located because we're surrounded by country. Going to last too much longer. So I think your location's fantastic. I think the ability to see it, to sit out there in the peace and quiet will be fantastic. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, we're looking at, a lot of people do think of hospice as the place that you're just going to, it's not just it's where you're going to continue to live till the end. And we want to make it so that every person in our community has that option to go to a place where they can live the rest of their lives in somewhere it's beautiful, pristine, that's built, and it's where you can run home and you can be right there. And we're not going to another community, because Strathroy-Caradoc is special and we should have one too.
Thank you. And again, Tyler, on behalf of council and your whole board, thank you for doing this. Thank you for taking care of our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Councillor Derbyshire, I'll let you make your way up here. Next on the docket is, apologize. Next on the docket is Casey McNaughton, who wants to speak about drainage concerns at 133 Beach Street. Please do.
Hi.
Floor is yours, Casey.
I'm Casey McNaughton. I live at 133 Beach Street. My property has been flooding for over 10 years now because of the drainage issue on Beach Street. In February of 2019, the city, Brad Dossett, who I'm aware is no longer working for the city, but he told me that they're going to start work to add drainage in the spring. This was in February, so this would have been spring of 2019. Nothing has been done. Nobody has come out, there's been no drains added. Since then, my basement has now started taking on water. My foundation is higher up on one side of my house than the other, and I now have concerns about mold and safety for my family. I am asking the town to take responsibility for the drainage issue, fixing it, and help cover the damages caused by the delay. I have a lot of communication between me and the city, trying to raise flags, trying to let them know that there is a problem. We get, I've had over 6.5 inches of water in my house. The water will spread right over the entire street. It floods my neighbors' lawns. There are other streets on the house that are now getting water in their basement as well. And I feel like I've been trying everything I can to let the city know that there is a drainage problem. Street, it is affecting the homeowners, it is affecting our homes. And I would really like help in not only repairing the street for other homes, but also help repairing my home, because I've been asking for help since before there's been water in my basement, and it doesn't look like help is coming. There has been a plan for drainage on Beach Street. I'm aware that there were funding put in to make plans, that there are plans, but there is no timeline and there's no set date to actually act on those plans. And that's frightening to me, because even if I pay to have my home, the foundation repaired, there's no guarantee that the water's not just gonna come in next spring and the spring after that, because the problem isn't my home necessarily, is the amount of water that it takes on. My home is in the middle of the street. It is where the water builds up the most. And I'm rambling, I'm just asking for help with Beach Street and my home.
Thank you, Casey. Do any members of council have any questions? Deputy Mayor McGuire.
For the information, my question through you, Your Worship, to Director Mark Ortiz, and I'm sure he was expecting a question. And I'm just going from memory here, I thought we had seen this at budget. We put money towards a project for beach. Do you know if that's correct, or Director Dakin, did we in fact do that? And if so, do we know exactly where that project stands as far as implementation?
I can take this through the chair to council. We had budget allocated for design, and that was undertaken last year, I believe. So design is complete, and the project is ready to go to construction. As a council member during the budget discussions last year, there were a number of projects which were pushed back from the plans originally in 2025, and this was one of those projects that was deferred. The list that was originally planned for 2025.
Thank you. Any other questions? No, I'm sorry.
Can I ask a question?
No, I'm gonna say you're not registered on and not being difficult, but don't know who you are.
Derek Carter.
Who are you?
Derek Carter, you already fixed my drainage issue.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I don't recognize you there, but I'm just not what we're doing here, so we're here to talk about. In case I'm not being difficult, Derek?
I understand that 100%.
Yeah, so I'm not being difficult.
And you obviously know my situation, because you and I talked about it many times.
Yeah, but Derek, I didn't recognize you there, so I apologize. Meet lots of people, but you're not registered for this evening, so if you want to come back and talk, no problem, okay? Councillor Palmer.
Through Your Worship to Director Ortiz. So I know that it's probably not an easy answer, but I guess for me, and I think of myself as being in this situation, are you able to determine whether or not that the problems caused in this home are caused by the lack of drainage, and that, so for example, if you put the drainage in, is the problem gone, which then maybe one could conclude that if we had had the drainage done in 2019, the homeowner wouldn't be in this situation. I guess that's what I'm trying to understand I'm not a technical person. So look at your because I know that you have met with the homeowner and did some discussion and going back into some history. So if you could give us your opinion on that, I would appreciate that.
So through the chair to council, it's pretty difficult to pinpoint a single cause of an issue. This is clearly a long-standing issue. The drainage, there's no storm sewer on Beach Street. There's nowhere for water to go immediately after. Water does naturally enter the groundwater below surface and dissipates that way. As far as a single reason or what happened, I wouldn't want to speculate on whether or not a storm sewer installed in 2019 would have avoided any additional damage. I would think that this is probably a long-standing issue. We have high groundwater tables and no sanitary, no storm sewers. I'm not sure if that helps.
Any other questions? Councillor Derbyshire.
I guess the only question I would have is maybe we could possibly defer this to 2 meetings from now, where we can see the Beach Street design cost, and maybe there's a chance that we could move this possibly into the budget this year, depending on what the cost is. Because if this house is in problems, it won't be long before there's another one on that street, another one, and judging by the conversations that have been had here between Ms. McNaught and our staff, whether it be now or previously, it does sound like we somewhat say the water is coming from our road and essentially is our problem. So maybe there's a way we can fix this. I think had we known about this at budget time, it maybe changes our decision as to whether we would have pushed that back or not, but, you know, it was not clearly stated that this was ever a problem with houses, so.
You wanna make a motion, Counselor?
Yeah, I think
Ask for a report, go ahead and make a
yeah.
motion.
So do I have to defer this or just ask for a
Just
report?
ask for a report, Counselor.
So I'm gonna ask for a report on the costing, on where we're at so far with Beach Street.
Okay.
Does that cover what we're
Yep,
looking
you want
for?
to put a date on it for a month?
Yeah, would, I don't,
2
whatever the
meetings from now?
second meeting is.
Just 1 second.
No?
Yeah, Director Ortiz, sorry, I didn't see it.
Yeah, just thanks to the chair. I might be able to answer a few questions now. We do have we had $1.5 million allocated for construction. So that was based on the cost estimates. And the design has been completed. Again, that's just for storm along Beach Street.
Okay, please. Yep, so we have a motion from Councillor Derbyshire. Do you have someone to second it, Councillor Derbyshire? The Deputy Mayor, let's go on. Any questions regarding his motion? And then we go to, yep, Councillor Hippel and Councillor Cass.
Oh, okay, I like it, and I guess because I think this, you were kind of saying it, but it wasn't in the motion. So is this something, are you asking for a report to see if we can bump this back into play? Because if we have everything, ultimately everything is ready to go, the only thing that happened is that we as council bumped it out. So is that kind of what we're asking? Are we asking to see how we can bump this back in?
Councillor Derbyshire's motion.
What I was more asking is for the report on what the cost was, what the design was, and again, at that point, I would ask that the finance tell us what might have to move, bump, change this, that, if there is a way to make this work. That's all I'm not saying we do it, I'm not saying we put it back on the docket. What I just want to see is a report back to council saying, here's everything you need to know about this project, here's what it costs us, here's what gets removed or not, or where we move it from.
Okay. Councillor Kenneth, you had a question.
Well, I guess it's possible to have like a third-party independent expert take a look at this and see where the issue is. Is it just the rainfall drainage or drainfall causing it, or are there other issues involved here as well? I mean, we could approve a month from now, approve the project, and the problem still may not be solved. So I just wonder if as part of this, we should be looking at something like that as well to determine what the problem really is. So.
Go ahead, Councillor Derbyshire. Then I was going to ask Gordon.
Sorry, the only thing I would say with that is then we're getting into the compensation portion of what this project is, as opposed to possibly fixing what we've already kind of addressed as a problem. We know this street's a problem. So before we get down that road, which I then would agree, we should definitely consult a third party and if we're moving forward on compensation.
Okay. All right, Councillor Brennan.
I have no problem with the motion. I don't think we should speculate on the causal relationship between the drainage problems on the street and the foundation problems at this location. I haven't seen that one necessarily causes the other, but I have no priority to take a look at what it costs to implement the drainage plan on Beach Street. I think that's great, and I think we should steer clear of a causal relationship between the drainage issues on the street and the foundation problems of one particular, a clear connection between the two, and I'm not an engineer.
So we have a second. Sorry, go ahead, Councillor Pelton.
Yes, thank you. I think we've known that the flooding issues on Beach Street were a problem, but other things had to happen. Street needed to be done, and then McKellar needed to be done so that there was an actual outlet for Beach Street to be drained, and then other stuff has happened since that was also. I feel for them. I've had 2 houses myself where the basement flooded, one that did have curb and gutter, and just my property happened to be the lowest around 6 other properties, and all the water came into the basement, and I spent a lot of money on concrete and stuff to keep it away. Another one where I did not have curb and gutter, but I did have storm sewer, where the water table came up through, essentially floated the house. so it's hard to say why water comes in sometimes and some other times it doesn't. But we do need to, that Beach Street doesn't get delayed again and finish what we started many, many years ago for that whole neighborhood, not just Beach Street.
Okay, any other further questions? We'll bring it to a vote. We have Councillor Derbyshire. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Thank you. Thank you, Casey.
Thank you.
First, next is public meeting number 1. This public meeting is to look at a zoning bylaw amendment for 23722 Glen Oak Road in Strathroy. Motion to open the public meeting. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Kennis. All in favor? Carried. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. This is a rezoning application as mentioned on Glen Oak Road. It is just looking at the location map. It's on the east side of Glen Oak, if Glen Oak ran north-south, and just between Innadale and Old Drive. This is an application that comes forward to council as a result of a surplus farm dwelling severance that was approved back in February of this year. And it's the subject rezoning would change the site's A1 zone to an A3 for the larger portion of the property, and the surplus farm dwelling would get a site-specific A2 zone. That site zone would address an existing shed on the property, accessory structure on the property that will remain. The property's home was built in 1978, and it's intended to continue on the property. If we continue to move forward on the documents, just indicate that there were no objections to this rezoning application, and there were no comments from the public in advance of tonight. And it's for those reasons that planning staff are supportive of the application. It's consistent with the provincial planning statement and both the county and local official plans. I'm available for any comments if there are questions.
Before we get to questions from members of council, are there any comments and inquiries by the public on the rezoning? Are there any inquiries or questions from members of council? Councillor Wilsey.
Just one, I didn't notice it in the report that we've got, but the one that was up there where it showed the zoom posts that looked like a number of outbuildings. Is there anything that we have to look at there for the number of outbuildings and the ratio of the house size to the outbuildings that needs to be addressed in the rezoning, or is that already covered?
Through the chair to Councillor Wilsey, that is the reason for the site-specific zoning, and so that would allow for the cumulative floor area of 370 square meters that was a permitted thing when it was an A1, but when it becomes an A2, that's an item that we need to recognize as being existing. So it recognizes the existing condition and allows it to continue on the property.
Any other questions? Councillor Derbyshire.
Thank you. Through you to Mr. Williams, that the broiler barn is unoccupied, but the purchaser's intention is to run it for the chicken operation. Will there be any constraints put back on that for the new purchaser? Does it, with the same settings from buildings and this and that, it's exempt from any of that? It can just start up its operation without having to go through any of the, like, there's no restrictions to it as a chicken barn?
Through the mayor to councillor, they only if they choose to do some sort of upgrade or change building, they need a building permits for those.
Okay,
thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, Deputy Mayor.
I'll move the 3 motions recommended by staff to receive it, to approve it, and move it to consideration of bylaws.
Interject? Keep your powder. We got to close the meeting first. Deputy
Oh, I
Mayor.
thought we had to put the motion on first.
No, we gotta make a motion, public meeting first, then you can bring
My
those.
apologies.
That's okay. Motion to close, Councilor Brennan, second by the Deputy Mayor, all in favor, carried. And there you go, you wanna bring the motion on the three, Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, I'll bring the motion as recommended by staff.
Seconder, Councilor Derbyshire, any questions? Seeing none, all in favor, carried. Second public meeting is on the zoning bylaw amendment for the property located at 6978 Scotchmere Drive in Strathroy. Motion to open the public meeting. Deputy Mayor, second by Councilor Kennis, all in favor, carried. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. So this is a property on Scotchmere, which, as shown on the plan, on the screen, is sort of, we'll call it the north side of Scotchmere, and that is between Melbourne and Glen Road. This is a property that was severed back in 2008. The zoning on the property, however, stayed A1. The owner of the property is now looking to make changes to the home and doesn't line up with something that would allow him to make the changes that he's looking to do. As such, he's asked for rezoning of the property to an A2 zone. That would be, as you saw just in the last meeting, public meeting, that's the standard, would be an A2 zone for this property. And so he's simply asking for that A2 zone to be applied to these lands. It's a site specific as well, just to address some of the existing buildings on the property, but it would allow everything to move forward as exists today, but allow them to make renovation or to completely remove the building if they were to choose, the home if they were to choose and rebuild.
Thanks. Oh, sorry.
That's it. I'm available for questions, and we're in support of the application.
Any comments by any members of the public? Are there any comments or questions from members of council? Seeing none, motion to close the public meeting. Councilor Palmer, second by Councilor Wilsey. All in favor? Carried. Councilor Derbyshire, I need to see your hand. Thanks, Bo. I need to see your hand on that.
All right.
Three motions in front of you. Someone bring the motion on the three recommendations. Councilor Hippel, second by Councilor Wilsey. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Tim. This evening, council, there are 2 minutes in front of you for approval. April 22nd. The other one is the special council meeting minutes of April 28th. Motion to approve both of those minutes. Deputy Mayor, second by Councilor Brennan. All in favor? Carried. Consent items. There are 6 consent items in front of you. Does anyone wish to remove any consent item for discussion? Seeing none, then a motion of the consent items 7.1 and 7.2 be received for information. Deputy Mayor, second by Councilor Kennis. All in favor? Carried. Building and planning, community improvement applications. Who is going to speak on the first one? Saja? And I guess we're just going to get you a standard, but we'll do the first one, Saja.
Sounds good. Right. Good evening. Thank you, Chair. So the first application before council this evening is for the property of 22443 Adelaide Road in Mount Bridges, applying for the beautification program. The applicants are requesting support through the construction costs matching grant with the selection of the multiple facades option. The proposal includes the rehabilitation of the side and rear facade of the existing building, which are currently in poor condition and present safety concerns, while also detracting from the visual character of the surrounding figures 1 and 2 in the report. In addition, the application proposes an upgrade to the existing signage to enhance business visibility and contribute positively to the streetscape along Adelaide Road. The applicants have indicated that construction will begin upon council's approval of the CIP application. After reviewing the application, the CIP committee determined that it meets all funding requirements, deemed complete on April 10th, 2025. The CIP committee recommends approval for 22443 Adelaide Roads application for funding through the beautification program to the maximum amount of $5,600.13. Thank you.
Thank you. So the two motions are to receive the report. Second is to approve the funding. So I'm going to bring the motion. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Hippel. Any questions? Councillor Palmer. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess I was just a little surprised to see that the beautification program included fixing the rear of a building that isn't front-facing commercial in any way. It looks to be, is this a residential at the back?
No, through the chair, this is a addition to the commercial building.
Okay, you can confirm that to me that the guidelines say specifically that we would do things that aren't forward-facing, the backs of properties, that is part of the program?
Through the chair, through previous applications that we've done with the beautification program, we've dealt with multiple facades that included the rear. So an example is on Thomas Street, where it goes on the front, the side, and the rear. So this is an example of an application that was done previously with multiple facades, including the rear.
Other questions? Seeing none, we have a second motion. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Next one, Sajid.
Thank you, Chair. So the next application presented today relates to the CIP application submitted by Michael and Julianne Kloss for their property at 53 Hemlock Boulevard. In January 2025, Council approved a grant of $6,777.56 through the additional unit program. Following that decision, the applicant submitted a request for reconsideration, asking Council to review their application and the total funding amount. Due to the work commencing prior to receiving CIP approval, the committee identified a compliance issue under Section 7.3.2 of the CIP manual, which states that grant approvals must be obtained before starting any eligible work, unless otherwise permitted by the municipality under Section 7.3.15. As a result, two funding options were presented to Council. Option 1, recommending by the CIP committee and approved by Council, providing funding only for work completed after the application date and in accordance with the program requirements. Option 2, also presented for consideration and would allow for funding for both the eligible work and the previously completed components based on Council's discretionary authority. These two options were brought forward to address the specific circumstances of this case, while also maintaining fairness and consistency across all CIP applications. The applicants are now requesting that Council reconsider their application and approve the remaining $9,450.01 in funding for their previously completed work. This would bring the total grant amount to $16,227.57, consistent with option 2 as listed in the report. Thank you.
Council will do this in two steps since there's one decision. A motion to receive this report first. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Kennis. All in favor? Any questions or comments? We need to set direction on this one. Councillor Kennis.
Report coming back, and you know, I think this is a case again where the application would qualify for this program, and for various reasons, including timing and other issues, it wasn't approved, and I believe that it should qualify. I think we all bear some responsibility in this one, so I would be in favor of moving forward with the full amount.
Any other comments? We'll go with Councillor Palmer.
I was just going to second.
Oh, okay. Did you make a motion? I need a motion out of there.
I guess I did. Yes.
Okay. You'd be in favor?
Yes.
So you seconded. So, any comments on the motion in front of us? Councillor Brennan.
Cautionary note that this not be precedent-centered. It's not a precedent. You know, we don't want a rush of people coming forward who have completed work in the past and now see that they can apply for a CIP grant after the fact. I think there are special circumstances here, but in future we need to certainly require that people make an application before beginning work.
Any other comments, questions? We have a second motion. All in favor of the motion? Opposed, if any? Thank you. Next, Sajid, number 3.
Thank you, Chair. This application before council this evening is for the property of 79 Bradley Avenue in Strathroy, applying for the additional unit program. The applicant requesting support through the building and planning permit fee grant, the construction cost matching grant, and the professional fees matching grant. The proposal involves the creation of one additional residential unit in the basement of the existing home, with all work to be completed in compliance with the Ontario Building Code standards. A building has already been obtained, demonstrating alignment with the CIP's guidelines and eligibility requirements. The applicant has indicated that construction will begin upon council's approval of the CIP application. The CIP committee recommends approval for 79 Bradley Avenue's application for funding through the additional unit program to the maximum amount of $16,752. Thank you.
There are two motions in front of you. One that we receive the report for information and that we approve the funding. So I'm going to bring Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Kennis. Were there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion? Opposed, if any? Carried. Thomas Street.
Thank you, Chair. So this application for council is a request for an extension to an existing CIP agreement relating to a previously approved application under the beautification program for the properties located at 77, 79, and 81 Thomas Street in Strathroy. Although the original application was approved by council, the exterior brick rehabilitation has not been completed. The agreement is currently set to expire on May 6, 2025. The applicant is requesting a one-year extension due to post-COVID contractor and permit challenges, as well as limited revenue during significant interior renovations. Since acquiring the property in 2020, the applicant has made substantial improvements, including new roofing, windows, doors, HVAC systems, and the renovation of Unit 79 into a retail space. Unit 77 is now being developed into a cafe with anticipated revenue to support the work plan for spring 2025. The CIP committee has reviewed the request and confirmed the project remains compliant with all CIP manual requirements, including the Downtown Strathroy Urban Design Guidelines. In recognition of the applicant's ongoing effort, the committee recommends that council approve a one-year extension to the CIP agreement, maintaining the previously approved grant amount of $20,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Someone to bring the motion to receive and to approve the bylaw amendment. Deputy Mayor, second by Councillor Pelkman. Any questions? None, all in favor of the motion? Opposed, if any? Carried. Councillor Wilsey, excuse yourself. The last one, I believe, Saja.
Thank you, Chair. This application before council this evening is for the property of 8668 Longwoods Road, applying for the additional unit program. The applicant is requesting support through the building planning permit fee grant, construction cost matching grant, and the professional fees matching grant. The proposal includes the construction of a new 2-story single detached dwelling with an attached garage to be located on the west side of the property. A building permit has already been obtained and construction is set to begin pending council's approval of the CIP application. The CIP committee has reviewed the application and determined it to be complete as of April 11, 2025. Furthermore, the subject property falls within an eligible stream zone as the applicant has also received a site-specific zoning bylaw amendment in December 2024, which permits the development of the proposed second single detached dwelling. Under the terms of the amendment, the larger proposed dwelling is to be designated as the primary residence, while the existing, smaller dwelling on the property is reclassified as the second. Although the proposal complies with the applicable zoning and planning requirements, the CIP committee has determined that it does not meet the intent of the additional unit program. According to the CIP manual, the additional unit program is intended to support the creation of new secondary or garden suites, rather than the reclassification of an existing dwelling to facilitate the construction of a new primary residence. With this, the CIP application recommends denial of the application for 8668 Longwoods Road, as it does not meet the intent of the additional unit program. Thank you.
Thank you, Saja. There are two motions. We received the report, and secondly, we deny the someone to bring a motion. Councillor Brandon, second by Councillor Kennis. Any questions or concerns?
What motion are we bringing, both?
Yep, the one to receive and the one to deny. Yep, Councillor Derbyshire.
Thank you. So on this one here, I know the reason we're denying is because the house he's building becomes primary residence, doesn't become the secondary. But in all actuality, he's actually creating 2 additional houses in the way that 2 families are gonna move in this, which opens up 2 additional units of housing. Now, just because of the bylaw, we flip-flop. I do believe an additional unit is supposed to be in a garage or above on the 2nd floor is where they're supposed to be located. I think that's part of the additional thing, or a garden suite.
Was that a question?
Well, yeah, I guess I will ask that question. Where are the garden suites in this? Like back where we approved one in the basement. You know, does that actually qualify as part of it? Or should that have been denied based on it wasn't put above on the ceiling? The intent of what he's doing is to create more housing, which he's doing. I think we're catching him again here on a technical thing, which we could probably catch numerous one of these things on. They aren't above this, and they aren't a garden suite, and they aren't, you know, exactly the amount of size.
Sajid, do you have an answer to the councillor's question?
Through the chair, if I could pass this on to Tim Williams for better information, that'd be great. Thank you.
Through the mayor, to the councillor, I think there are 2 parts here. One is how we zone something, and then one, how we look at something through this program. So I'll speak to the zoning part. The zoning bylaw does allow for secondary suites to be located within the primary dwelling, so within an existing single detached dwelling. The also allows for additional secondary dwellings to be located outside of the main dwelling above the garage. But there are amendments to that have come forward over the years to allow them to be at grade or alike. So they are essentially approved through zoning to be either at grade or in the basement. So I think that was part of the question that he was asking. In terms of the CIP, what this program is designed to do is to create additional dwelling units that are secondary suites. A garden suite, which is a different piece, is a building that can come off of a property over time. So it's placed on cultural property, it's mobile in a sense, and can be removed after 10, 20 years, that sort of thing, and it's designed for a specific purpose, and that purpose being elderly parents or those sorts of things. Elderly parents or those sorts of things. That's how it generally starts, but we also have to remember that there are now human codes, things that we can't speak about in specific individuals in that manner, so they can be actually used for a wider range of things. But those are mobile home essentially approach. And when I say mobile homes, I don't mean mobile homes. I mean homes that can move off of the property. I think I may have answered the majority of the question, but if there's something more to it, I'm certainly able to answer that, and I know I have others to back me up as well.
Okay. Thank you. Any other? Councillor Palmer.
Mr. Williams, could you define?
Councillor Palmer.
Mr. Williams, could you define then what dwelling secondary suite would? I mean, you explained what a garden suite is, but I'm just looking at the guidelines here. It says development or redevelopment that result in the creation of a new additional rental unit or dwelling secondary suite. So how do we define that?
Yeah, Mr. Williams.
So I'm going to give you the definition as I remember it. I don't have my zoning bylaw in front of me. It is a suite that if it's within the building is smaller than the primary dwelling. So if the primary dwelling is this have to be less than half. Well, in fact, it would need to be 40% of the area of the building. The main dwelling would have to be 60%. If you're talking about it being in a separate building, it would have to be 40% area of the principal dwelling. So if the principal dwelling has 1,000 square feet, then this secondary suite would need to be a maximum of 400 square feet. We could double or triple those numbers if necessary.
Councillor Pammer.
Yeah, just as a follow-up, and so if I remember Saj's earlier comment, this would not meet that criteria, correct? Because the new building is larger square footage than the original. Did I understand that correctly?
I'm happy to go from nodding to actually verbally say it so that it's on the record. Yes, in this particular case, the building being constructed is larger than the existing building.
Any other questions? Seeing none, you have
There's a question.
sorry, I didn't see. Oh, sorry, I didn't look and you.
I did have another one, sorry.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I'm noticing here in the explanation is that the intention is to increase the diversity of rental housing options. And so I know the applicant can't answer, but is it your understanding that these would be rental units and creating a diversity and meeting the criteria of fulfilling the mandate of increasing the stock and diversity of rental housing?
Sorry. Through the chair, it wasn't discussed with the applicant whether they are renting out these units. But to my knowledge, I think the existing dwelling, which would now be the secondary suite, will be rented out to someone in that he knows of. But the primary room, to my knowledge, I'm not sure of whether that will be rented out or whether that will be used for other purposes.
Was that a hand there, Councillor Pelkman?
Yeah, I don't have a question, but maybe just a comment. And similar to a situation we just had with Committee of Adjustment in Cairngorm. Not that they've applied for a CIP program, but the same thing is happening on the property where they're gonna build a new house and there's an existing. I would also not look at that property as a property that would apply for the CIP program, because they're essentially building a new house, not creating a second dwelling, and that's the intent of the program. You know, is not only to create second units in existing properties, but to make sure it's done properly and to assist people with the conversion. And in my mind, they're just building a new house.
Well, Councillor Derbyshire, then we'll bring it to a vote.
Thank you, and I'll say the same thing I said at Committee of Adjustment. 100% agree. In town. When you're in town, you got a 1,500 square foot house. You sure don't want in your backyard a 2,300 square foot house. When we get out to the country, a lot of the small farm homes are 1,200 square feet. So if you are going to build a new house, you're not going to build 800 square feet. You're going to build bigger and rent out the smaller one because your family moving into that. Maybe that doesn't help this person out right now, but I think it's something as the program needs to allow this stuff to happen out into the rural side of things. Maybe it has to be different in the way that you have the area to build a bigger house next to a small one. To me, when I look at it, I would say, yep, that doesn't meet that quota, but you are creating two houses for rent. There are two families that are going to move into this new house, which then opens up two more houses to be rented in Strathroy-Caradoc. Program is.
So we have a second and motion. All in favor, remember one is to deny. All in favor of the two motions in front of you. Opposed, if any? Carried. Somebody get Councillor Wilsey for me. Oh, there's Councillor Wilsey there. I didn't see. I thought you left the room. Before we proceed, I have a request of all the council. When we ask a question or take a vote, can I ask that we put our hand up fully? Because I get caught looking for a half hand or a half mask question, so I'm going to ask all the council to please raise your hand so I don't miss you. I don't mean to miss you. So next is the 2025 sidewalk recommendations. Director Ortiz.
Thank you. Through the chair, the report in front of you has the recommendations for the 2025 sidewalk program, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Thank you. So before we do that, the two motions are that council receive the report, and second is that council direct staff to proceed with tendering of the 2025 sidewalk program for the sidewalks identified in this report. Someone to bring a motion. Councillor Pelkman, second by Councillor Brennan. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Seeing none? Is there any questions? I missed the question part. I apologize, council. I was excited to see all the hands up. I go, oh, so are there any questions for, sorry, Councillor Wilsey?
I had a question with regards, it's not directly related to this, but it is related to the side. I know they're narrow, we've been talked about replacing them for a couple of years. Where are we at with the downtown rejuvenation where we're gonna replace the sidewalks on Adelaide Road? Because I see we're doing everything except Adelaide, but.
And in Strathroy. The design is ongoing. It's been paused, I would say, or a little slow recently. As with the other capital projects, we did have some money allocated for 2025, which we've pushed back to 2026 and onward. That whole program is, I think, around $13 million, give or take. So that's been, it's a large project that's on the books, and we hope to continue with the stakeholder engagement, public engagement, and council engagement this year, and hopefully prepare for a tender-ready project towards the end of the year and into next year.
I'm just gonna follow up, ask a question. So Adelaide Road is a county road, but the county curb, if I understand correctly, and the municipality is responsible for the sidewalks, correct?
That is.
I think I got that right. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it, and I appreciate the early vote, council, so we'll go through that. So that motion passed. Next is fire services, the automatic aid agreement. Will you speak to that, Deputy Chief?
Thank you, Chair. Through Chair to Council. The report in front of you recommends the adoption of an automatic aid agreement with Adelaide Metcalfe Fire Department, specifically for a stretch of the 402 running from Centre Road, which is exit 65, down to Hickory Drive at exit 69. The reason is that we were approached by the Chief of Adelaide Metcalfe, who recognises for geographical reasons there's a delay in attendance to that particular part of the highway. And we already responded to the 402 and enter the 402 at exit 69 to go east, and obviously we would be able to get to exit 69 and 65 far faster than Adelaide Metcalfe. We currently respond there as part of a mutual aid agreement, but the automatic aid agreement would have us dispatch on scene much more expeditiously than Adelaide Metcalfe would currently.
Before we go to the questions, I'll bring the motion, then we'll do it. There are three motions in front of you. One, that we receive the report. Second, that Strathroy-Caradoc authorize mayor and clerk to execute the agreement. Third is that the bylaw before the consideration of bylaws section. So I'll be careful this one. Someone to bring the motion, Councillor Hippel, second by Councillor. Now questions, Councillor Brent.
Through the chair to the presenter. How prompt has MTO reimbursement been to the municipality or the Strathroy-Caradoc Fire Department?
Through the chair to the councillor. As far as I'm aware, it's very, very prompt. Obviously, we're in a situation right now where documentation's going forward a little bit slower than usual, but the MTO is very, very prompt in their payment.
Any other questions? Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. To Deputy Chief Beasley. Says in the event, I'm reading on the top paragraph of page 2 of the report, financial implications. In the event that our fire department responds to a false alarm and not required or released, or they are released by the OPP and or perform no service, they shall be, or they shall seek reimbursement of 1 hour at the MTO rate for 2 apparatus from Adelaide Metcalfe Fire Department. Does that clause fully compensate Strathroy-Caradoc for us sending our personnel into a response area that is Adelaide Metcalfe's?
Through the chair to the Deputy Mayor. Based on the figures that I'm aware of, yes, it does.
Councillor Pammer. I was waiting. That is awesome. If everybody could follow Councillor Palmer's lead, it would make for a much smoother meeting.
So my apologies. I'm going to declare an indirect pecuniary interest. I did not realize there was a financial implication to this discussion. So via my association with the Chamber of Commerce and the township being a member, so I'm going to excuse myself from this conversation. And my apologies, I mentioned that earlier.
Thank you. Any other questions or follow? We'll go with Councillor Wilsey and Councillor Kennis.
A question from you through to the chief. I had thought with almost all fires in Strathroy-Caradoc we had an automatic 2-station response. So if we do that, then we're going to be Bridges and Strathroy, which is going to be way more than 2 units. And just looking at emails and thinking about the time of our volunteer firefighters with automatic 2-station responses, and then only be reimbursed for 2 units. If we have a 2-station response, you're going to be sending at least 4. Hear a little bit on that.
Fair question. Deputy Chief.
Yeah, through the chair to Councillor Worsley. That would be for structure fires, would be the automatic 2-station response. For the highway, we would be responding one of our rescue pumpers, and we would respond a technical rescue unit there, which has additional equipment specifically for extrication. And in the event that there was something serious going on, Adelaide Metcalfe would also be responding as well. So we would still have our apparatus and an aerial ladder in town to respond into the community here, and obviously the other 2 stations would be able to respond as well.
What's that, Councillor Kennis had one, then I'll go to you.
This might be I had it on and turned it on. This might be a dumb question, but in a situation like this where that piece of 402 is in Adelaide Metcalfe, do we bill Adelaide Metcalfe, who then in turn bill the MTO, or do we bill the MTO directly?
Deputy Chief.
Through the chair to Councillor Kennedy and the MTO directly.
Okay. And Councillor Derbyshire.
Thank you, and I guess my question's pretty easy. Through you to the Deputy Chief. Can you just explain the difference between mutual aid and automatic aid? Just to give everybody an idea of what we were doing and now what we're going to be doing.
Chair to Councillor Derbyshire. Essentially, mutual aid is that if a call was to come in for that particular area, Adelaide Metcalfe would respond, then Adelaide Metcalfe will ask us to assist them with the response. So again, there's a delay in that response, then we would respond, and then we respond services like for like. With automatic aid, if a call was to come in for this particular area on the 402, we as Strathroy would be the principal responders, and we would be able to bill for all the funding and cost recovery for an event that occurs.
Deputy Mayor.
I don't want to cut the conversation short, but I will be seeking a deferral of this because I want to ensure the language of the contract gives reimbursement for all costs that we incur, if not by MTO, through Adelaide Metcalfe, rather than 1 hour for 2 pieces of apparatus, when potentially, and I don't know what our firefighters receive when the call comes in, how much time, is there a minimum call out time? So all of these things that I'm not aware of, I would like more information about that in the report, or language that says we get full cost recovery as opposed to our taxpayers supplementing that program, but it needs to be on a full cost recovery basis.
Was there a motion there?
I didn't want to stop discussion.
Okay.
But if it's over, then we can take that. I'll make a deferral of this matter for.
Can we suggest next meeting?
Thank you. For the next meeting, for language or information that satisfies me that we have a full cost recovery. Thank you.
Okay, do you have a seconder for your motion? Councillor Wilsey, there's no debate on it. Councillor Wilsey, there's no debate on a deferral, right? Deputy Mayor, is your dream?
No.
Opposed, if any? That motion is defeated. So we have a seconded motion and 3 seconded motions in front of you. So all in favor of the motions? Opposed, if any? That motion carries. Thank you. highlights from April 22nd.
Yeah, the report's in front, and I wouldn't have anything to add. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Move to announcements and inquiries by members. Let's start with Councillor Heppel.
Thank you. Some great things have been going on within our municipality. Within our whole entire municipality, we've been having, Melbourne just had a cleanup day. You know, there's been a lot of great things. We had a home garden and leisure show at the Gemini. And at the same time, if you went to the other pad, you got to watch a little hockey tryouts, which is, you know, in my world always kind of fun as well. But a really nice, thoughtful memorial community garden. We had Arta Faulkner's memorial community garden was, I don't know if it was last weekend or about a week and a half ago. And it was such an amazing turnout and such a great idea. I mean, everyone that was involved in putting that together, from HCC students to like the Rotary Club. I mean, there were so many. I mean, I wouldn't do it justice if I told you who was all involved, so I won't do that. But I just wanted to say that for our community as a whole, having that available is just, it's outstanding. It's just such a wonderful spot, and obviously it is, you know, in memorial of Arta Faulkner, or they call it Nana's Garden. So that was really incredible to be a part of, and I wanted to say thank you to everyone involved in that. I'm just going to leave it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Canis.
I have nothing.
Okay. Councillor Wilsey.
I just wanted to put a thank you out there to everyone who lives out in the country and the city who cleaned up after the storm we had last week. A number of trees knocked down, both on personal and municipal property. Big thank you to the farmers who took it upon themselves to go out with their tractors and clean off the roads, just to help some of the road crews and some of the big branches that fell down. We don't have the program in place yet, but I think we're working on that to do that. With that, I just wanted to mention anyone who's watching this that the controlled burn area for the agricultural and the rural areas has gone back to the old ones, so you can call and report it now rather than going through the website. We've done that, and I think there'll be a policy coming forward on that later. But for now, if you had any issues reporting that and getting rid of that brush that you've cleaned up, we can go back to the old procedure. So thank you very much for all your efforts out there for everyone who's helped clean up.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Brennan.
Councillor Hippel stole all my thunder, so nothing tonight.
Councillor Pelkman.
Just I had the pleasure of attending the Home and Leisure Show. I thought it was pretty well attended, and others that I talked to felt like it was a good day for them. So I talked to a lot of people, and you know, there's a lot of positivity out there that people are happy with our community, and a few issues that were brought up. So it was a good day. I'm glad we're there.
Councillor Derbyshire.
Thank you. I'm just going to reiterate kind of what I said last meeting about farm safety. You know, make sure we all go slow, use our hazards, caution. Same thing, guys, we'll get it in the ground. Don't get too excited. You know, the rain has slowed us down a little bit, but again, the big tractors have big lights, and you know, let's make sure we use them. And other people, please give us a little break. It is a long season, and we do try hard. I did have one other question. Just getting midway through the second quarter, I was just looking if at some point we could get an update date on where we are at with the EA Schedule C possibly coming forward.
I'm sure the CAO heard, so he'll get something to do on that, Councillor. Councillor Palmer.
Nothing for me today.
Deputy Mayor.
Over the weekend, I know a number of us received a number of telephone calls regarding a policy for burns. So I just want to say, we received information from staff, the CAO and the interim fire chief, and have a clear understanding of what's going on. And certainly for those that reached out to me, I'll be in contact with you tomorrow to provide updated information. And I guess the good news is, for the moment, we've reverted back to the old system. and the rest of it is under review, and we'll hear more on that later. Thank you.
Thank you. You don't really think of Strathroy itself as an auto town, but we are. We have major industries, major employers here in Strathroy that are in the auto sector, and it's under threat, obviously, from the tariffs. So this Friday, I'm attending in Guelph. I become an auto mayor. Friday, I'm attending a conference of all auto mayors, and then Strathroy-Caradoc may be the smallest municipality there, but I just want to make sure that our voice is heard, the concerns are out there. There's the Premier will be there. I believe Minister Flack will be there and bring our concerns about tariffs and their impact on our industry. But I just wanted to point that out. We don't think of Strathroy as an auto town, but we're quickly becoming an auto town given the two major employers here in town. So I just want to let you know that I'll be bringing the concerns of our community to the Premier and the conference on Friday. So with that, we'll move next scheduled meetings. Our next meeting is Monday, May the 12th. That is a workshop meeting. We'll now move in camera, motion council move into closed session at 7:25 p.m. for the purpose of the following. One item in accordance with council's procedure bylaw to approve in-camera meeting minutes of April 22nd, 2025. And one item pursuant to section 239(2)(f) of the Municipal Act 2001. It is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. And when I bring the motion going to closed session, we'll also have a 10-minute recess. Someone to bring the motion. Councillor Pelkman, second by Deputy Mayor. All in favor? Carried.
You may stick around, I'll just see.
Thank you. Thanks, David.
Hours.
Motion that open session resume at 7:58 PM. Councillor Derbyshire, second by the Mayor. All in favor? Thank you. Council may in closed session to consider matters it is permitted to do so under the Municipal Act and as listed on tonight's council agenda. The following items were considered during the closed session. One item in accordance with council's procedure bylaw to approve the April 22nd, 2025 in-camera meeting minutes. The meeting minutes were approved. One item pursuant to section 239(2)(f of the Municipal Act regarding advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, recreation safety. Council received advice from legal counsel and no further direction was given. Motion that the direction in closed session be approved. Pardon me? Don't need to do that, I apologize, no direction. We will now move on to the consideration of bylaws. The motion is that all the bylaws are in front of you, receive first, second, third, and final reading. Someone bring the motion. Councillor Brennan, Councillor Kennis, all in favor? Carried. Motion to adjourn at 8 o'clock. Councillor Palmer, second by the Deputy Mayor, all in favor?
You matched my best time.